Mr. Nyantakyi, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you
How are you
for
doing?
the opportunity. I'm good. And you?
I'm also doing well. It's
Nice.
been a while.
Yeah. A day like another day.
You've disappeared a bit from the football space.
Yes. I've gone underground.
Talk to us briefly. How did you get into football?
For some of us, I think out of interest and passion. I used to play football when I was young.
Wow.
Yes. Growing up a while, I used to play football. And that earned me the accolade polo due to my immense skills in
Just
dribbling.
like Mohamed Polo?
All those polos in the world or in Ghana were named after Mohamed Polo.
Wow.
Yes, Mohamed Polo had a lasting effect or impression on up-and-coming football talents dotted across the country.
Yeah.
Every community in Ghana, not every town, every community in Ghana had a polo. For instance, in Accra, maybe you went to Dansoma, you find a polo at the Braka.
So it will be
yes.
Dansoma Polo?
Yes. So you come to where you
so
find...
you were...
No, I was not the only polo in Wa. There were other polos. Different sections of the town had polos.
Oh, okay.
If you could dribble like 3 people on the stretch and and that was to recognize you as a budding talent for the future, and also christening you after the greatest footballer of the time when we were growing up was Mohamed Polo.
So that's how you got into football?
Then in school, I played a bit, but not. This was just playing football as a pastime occupation, and also trying to express yourself in the game. Then we became followers of football. I remember there was a team in Wa called Upper West Heroes. Most of the players, the core players of the team, were the core team of Wa Secondary School. Oh, wow. So all of us became natural supporters of Upper West Heroes. So Master Kunedi was one of them, Nuru Ahmed was one of them, Gaspar Dere was one of them, and many others, even Kwame Ayu, you know.
Oh, okay.
And so in 1989, when that team qualified to the Premiership, then I was in Legon. We used to go to the stadium to watch them anytime they came around to play matches. Then after school, I became the Accra rep for that team.
Oh, okay.
Upper West Heroes.
Oh, okay.
Then I became the vice chairman of the club, and then that was my story of progressing into mainstream football administration. So
that was the genesis of you getting into the football space?
That's correct. Then in 2005, so when Upper West Heroes folded up, I formed a team in Wa called Wa All Stars in 2005. Right from 2nd division, it was promoted to the first division, and then to the Premiership in 2007. And Upper West Wa All Stars remained in the Premiership up to 2018. And for all this time, I was actively engaged in football. So as rep of Wa All Stars, in 2000 and as rep of Upper West Heroes in 2001, there were elections in Galka, and I contested and became an executive member of Galka as the representative for Division 1 clubs. And then in 2004, I contested another election in Galka as the vice chairman, which is equivalent to the vice president of
the GFA?
GFA. The vice chairman of Galka was the vice chairman of
the GFA then?
The GFA, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. This was a structure similar to what operates in England and South Africa. And in South Africa, the chairman of the league becomes the vice chairman of the FA. And then in England, the chairman of the club rep becomes the vice chairman of the FA. So that was the kind of structure until 2005, when a total overhaul of the architecture for football management in Ghana was reviewed, and a new structure put in place where we had the FA President and executive committee members. So I contested election in December 2005 and got elected as the first president under the new statute, which have remained in force up to date.
At what point did you feel that, no, I could become the GFA president?
I believe that when I became the vice chairman, of GALCA and also vice chairman of the FA,
yes.
On a few occasions I acted as the chairman.
Okay.
And when the chairman unceremoniously resigned,
yes.
I became the acting chairman. So in that position, I gathered some experience. In the office of the chairman, and that metamorphosed into the president.
And many people said you were very young around that time.
Maybe, considering that before me,
yes.
there were far older people who
had occupied the
position.
Yes.
Even in 2005, when I attended the FIFA Congress in Morocco, I remember, and I was introduced as the vice chairman then. Yeah. Then the delegations even from Europe were represented by very old people, yes, who were in their 70s.
Wow.
They marveled that somebody in his 30s could be vice chairman of the federation. Okay. And it was unimaginable. But it is because at that time, football had probably been entrusted into the hands of very old people.
Yes, yes.
People went into it after retirement. But with time, the realization has dawned on all of us that we probably need to inject newer blood, younger people, more energetic people to assume the reins of authority in football and give it the dynamism and vibrancy that it deserves.
Tell us how you won that 2005 GFA elections.
Oh, it's a long story. It's a long story. I was lucky that I had a lot of clubs backing me. Yeah. I was then the vice chairman and acting chairman, and a lot of people thought that they could entrust the destiny of the game as far as management was concerned into my hands. They saw what I did. Before that, even I used to do a lot of pro bono cases at the FA, defending clubs at the discipline committee.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I did a lot
because of your legal background.
Yes,
oh, okay.
Yes. So I had a lot of relationships with clubs, you know, and they thought that if I was elevated higher the ladder, I could be more useful to them. And I also serve on a lot of committees at the FA, many ad hoc committees on issues, salaries of staff, regulations of the FA, issues like commissions of inquiry, in the nature of that. I remember non-payment of 10% due the GFA by some clubs, including the Olympics. I chaired that committee. I also serve on the legal committee of the FA. I serve on Division 1 League Board. I serve on the executive committee before becoming, So I serve on the appeals committee. At that time, the appeals committee was constituted by some appointed members who were outside football and some members from the executive council on account of their background in football. Oh, okay. So I also serve on the appeals committee when Justice I.R. Abuaje was the chairman. Oh, okay. So I had a lot of experience.
Your life has been football, isn't it?
Yes, I've spent the best part of my youthful life
in football.
In football.
Then and neglecting what you rather studied in school, which is the law.
Yeah, it's true. But I think that as a lawyer, wherever you find yourself, it's the same mentality that you apply. Oh, okay. It's not, law has so many facets. Yeah. You can be a lawyer without even going to court. Advocacy is just one aspect of it. Oh, okay. Some people do corporate legal practice in their offices, advising clients, drafting agreements and opinions here and there. And it's also another form of legal practice. Oh, okay. Some people remain in the banks as bank lawyers. Some are with the local authorities. Some are with corporate, what's it called, state institutions. Yeah, all of them. Wherever you are, it's the same mindset, the same training, the same standards and skills that you acquire. You apply them wherever you are.
Within this very window, when you became the GFA president, that was the first time Ghana qualified to participate in the FIFA World Cup. 2006 was a maiden edition that Ghana took part in, and then There was the 2010, there was the 2014 World Cup. Talk to us about how you were able to secure that qualification to the FIFA World Cup. How did you do it? Because we had so many quality players who never secured a ticket at the Mundial.
Correct. That's correct. I think that the team that qualified Ghana to the World Cup in 2005 was one of the best. Not necessarily the best up to that time.
Yeah.
There could have been better teams in the 90s that did not get the opportunity to qualify.
Yeah.
But a number of factors contributed to the successful story that was told in 2005. I believe that the government of the day did a great job.
Okay.
The president at the time, realizing that Ghana had never been to the World Cup, in spite of the quality, talent that we had in abundance, set up a big committee, I think a 15 or 16 member committee.
which was just a World Cup committee?
Yes, World Cup committee.
Wow.
But it didn't work. But the government was very committed.
Oh, okay.
President Kufuor at that time decided to introduce some incentives to the team to motivate them to do their best. Yes. I remember that per diem for the team used to be half of what they earned subsequently. It was not $100 a day, but it was $50. He doubled it.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, he made an announcement at the Accra Sports Stadium on the eve of the team's trip to Ouagadougou to start the World Cup campaign, and the bonuses were tripled. Then not bonuses. The
per diem.
The per diem was doubled.
Yeah.
Then the bonuses. I don't know whether there was a structured bonus scheme before 2005, but what happened in 2005 was that the bonus was more or less performance-based.
Oh, okay.
So government decided, bonuses were a meager sum of money. Government decided to increase it to, I think it was $1,000. They increased it to $2,000.
Wow.
Yes. And then just around the corner, we signed a sponsorship with our major sponsor, Gold Force Ghana Limited.
Yes.
So from the sponsorship, the GFA added another $1,000 to the
$3,000.
$3,000 was the bonus for the match. So we lost our first match in Ouagadougou, if you recall.
Yes, yes.
Then we had to play our second match here against South Africa.
South Africa.
Yeah. And the bonus was announced as $3,000. You know.
So money was at the forefront of motivating the team.
One of, because money is quantifiable, you can easily say, but it was not at the forefront.
Oh, okay.
I'm just telling you one of the contributory factors
to how Ghana qualified for the World Cup.
But I also believe that management was really at the forefront.
Oh, okay.
Because we brought some dynamism and modern management practices into the running of the team.
The game.
At that time, we said, let's run the Football Association and the Black Stars like any private company. We apply all the principles that we learn in business school. And make sure we motivate, we plan well, we coordinate things, you know, and ensure that we get the best out of these players. So we used to engage them a lot. We had meetings with players, their bonuses, their earnings, their conditions for engagement with the team were all discussed and agreed with them. So more or less a social contract was signed between us. Yes. So if you ask Stephen Appiah, Lai Kingston, Gordon Atram, John Mensah, John Pintle, Mike Lesian, Sule Muntari, Asamaja and Co., they will tell you the kind of engagements that we had with them. Beside that, we were lucky to have all these things. We also had a committed group of young men who were interested in dying for their country.
For the country.
If we look at the trajectory of progress of the team, you will see that a lot of them progressed from the under-17 in the 90s.
Yes.
Then the under-20 team that went to the World Cup in 2001.
2001, Argentina.
Some of them played at the Mali tournament in 2002.
Yes.
And then in 2004, some of them were also playing for the Olympic team. 2005, they were ripe to play for the national team and deliver. They were at the prime of their careers. Yeah. Michael Essien had just joined Chelsea. For a transfer fee of 24 million pounds. You know, a record by then. Yeah. And they were all at the prime, the peak of their careers. You know, so we had a very good team. We had a technical team led by this Serbian.
Djukovic.
Yes.
Ratomir Djukovic.
Ratomir Djukovic was also very committed with the rest of his technical team, the medical team, the team psychologists, and so forth and so on. But I think that the country also did us a favor by rallying their support around the team.
Okay.
The euphoria around the country then was that we must qualify. This was our time.
Yes.
This was our time. And so the media, the general citizenry, and everybody was interested in seeing this team qualify. And by the grace of God, we did qualify.
As an inexperienced team, because this was the first time the team was going to the World Cup, I remember in the group of Italy, Czech Republic, US, people were like, oh, we're going to be knocked out within the first round. How did you prepare for that tournament and to ensure that we were able to secure qualification beyond the group stage?
Yes, I've always said it that planning, as I told you, good management practices, planning is key.
Yeah.
And we needed to plan well because we were really underdogs.
Yes, we were.
Many did not give us a dog's chance. They didn't think that Ghana was capable of coming out of the group. Yeah. This was a group made up of Czech Republic, which was number 2 at the time
in the world.
The world. Yeah. Then you had
Italy,
which was number 6 at the time. And the USA was like 11th or 12th at the time.
Yes.
We were languishing down the ladder of FIFA ranking. and that underdog status was what really propelled our team, because there wasn't so much attention and focus on us. But we concentrated on doing the basics and doing the right thing. So if you recall, we played 3 very good friendly matches.
Yes.
We played Turkey in Bochum. We played Jamaica in Leicester.
I recall
and then we played South Korea. In one of these Scottish cities in Scotland. So by the time the World Cup was ready, we were equally ready. So we took the world by storm.
But we lost to Turkey in the final match. I do recall that game.
Yeah.
And we beat Jamaica
4-0.
4-0.
Yes.
I recall that.
South Korea 3-1.
South Korea 3-1.
Yes. That boosted the confidence of the
team.
If you recall, I think one of the goals that Suleiman Tari scored against South Korea was similar to the goal he scored against the Czech Republic.
Yeah.
That was his hallmark.
Yeah.
You know, and everything that they did on the pitch was more of a dress rehearsal, something they had done before.
How come like Kingston did not make that squad? Because when CAF brought the sanctions, in fact, he was one of our best players. And many had said, oh, you could have appealed. What happened? Why did Laye Kingston
Laye Kingston unfortunately was suspended through the red card in Egypt.
In the game against Senegal?
Yeah, during the AFCON in 2006. Yeah. And Ghana appealed. The truth of the matter was that the appeal was filed out of time. It was filed out of time. Yes. It was filed out of time.
How did you forget to?
Somebody's negligence at the time. I remember this gentleman, Alex Asante, brought me the sanction in my room in the hotel at Port Said. I was then seated with Obi Amwan,
who was the deputy
sports minister. Then I asked Alex to hand over the document to another official to handle. And then we all concentrated on other things, hoping that this thing will be done. And it was not done. So the time that we all came back to look at it, it had not been done. And the time for filing an appeal had elapsed. And when the time for filing an appeal elapses, there is no other way you can even be heard, unless you go for extension of time within which to file the appeal. But in football, we don't do extension of time to file appeal. So unfortunately, that's how Laye Kingston didn't make it to the World Cup. It was a very painful experience for us. Nevertheless, we went to the World Cup, lost the first game to Italy. but won the two subsequent games and made it to the second
USA
round.
And Czech Republic.
Unfortunately, we met the almighty Brazil, and they whipped us 3-0.
3-0.
But having been to the World Cup for the first time, we thought that the team did well by going
that
to
was
the
a success.
round.
Yes, that was a success.
In fact, in our business plan for 2006-2010, our target was to make it to the second round. We did achieve that target.
Oh wow! Oh
yeah.
wow!
Yeah.
Tell me briefly, it was during the 2006 World Cup that, quote unquote, many Ghanaians say was the genesis of appearance fee that came into the picture, and that resulted in the 2014 World Cup. I know we'll get there, how we prepared, and all that's some of the stories that transpired in there. Now tell us, how did the bonuses come into the picture, the appearance fee and all that? Because appearance fee, they were alien to our football.
Of course, before we went to the World Cup, appearance fee was alien to all of us. The issue of appearance fee cropped up when we were playing the last friendly match against Korea in Scotland, Edinburgh. That's the name of the city, Edinburgh. When we went to Edinburgh, the players drew our attention based on intelligence they had gathered from their colleagues in other European teams.
So you were working with the BNI and CIDs and all that?
Including the current coach of the Black Stars.
Otoado?
Yeah, he was one of the players. And he had a lot of information because he knew all the players in the German national team. So they shared with us. They shared with their colleagues and shared with us that FIFA was going to pay some money, which has to be shared amongst players as what they call appearance fee. So we needed to tell them how much they were going to earn. So it was alien to us. Before we went to the World Cup, we hadn't made any budget for the payment of appearance fees. So quickly we had to engage them and then do a report. You remember? I remember I did the handwritten report at the time and sent it by fax. Email was not popular.
Yes, around that time.
Email was not popular. So I sent it by fax to Honorable Obi Amoah quickly that this is the issue that had come up in camp and we needed to address it as a matter of urgency. So quickly we agreed on the amounts with the players and the money was sent to the Ghana mission in Berlin.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And then they transferred it to a bank near the team-based camp in Wolfsburg. Yes. And then we paid the players. But it was really a thorny issue. So the learning point from 2006 was that we needed to engage players ahead of the World Cup. Yes. So by 2010, we had gathered enough experience in appearance fees business and engaged the players adequately. So I remember at Protea Hotel, we had a meeting, the senior players, Stephen, John, and what have you. We had a meeting with the then minister, Honorable Kwesi Nyantakyi. Yes. We had a meeting to discuss this appearance fee business. And then we appeared before cabinet, chaired by the
You had to go to cabinet to justify why the players had to pay them.
Yes. To justify before His Excellency, the President of the time, the late
Alhaji Ali Mahmoud.
No,
Professor Mills. Prof Mills, yes.
Prof Mills was the president at the time.
Yes.
Because the government needed to understand what we were paying and whether it was
justifiable.
No, not only that. Was it a loan or it was a grant? You know?
I see.
Yes. Once FIFA was going to repay, it means that whatever government was paying was refundable. Yes. And then he brought his finance minister, Dr. Dufour at the time.
Yes.
And for us to discuss all this is for him to also advise the president whether they could accommodate it. So that's how it was done. So in 2010, there was no dispute about it.
Wasn't the $75,000 people said you were going to pay to them? Was it $75,000?
In
the 2010 World Cup. People
the appearance fee that we paid.
Yes, that's what the media had reported.
It's possible because in 2014 it was 100,000. Yes. The appearance fee was 100,000. In 2010, maybe 50 or 75, something like that.
Yes.
Well, it's been paid already, so it's been paid and spent, so it's no longer an issue. Yes. But there was no qualms, there was no dispute, there were no questions about appearance fee in South Africa. The bonuses, everything was discussed and agreed upon, between management of the FA, the Ministry of Youth and Sports, and then the players. So there was really no problem. And
that was a tournament we had the best of performances under your tenure, right?
Yes. In fact, one of the best World Cups for Africa, not only under my tenure, but the whole of the African continent. Africa had gone to 2 previous World Cups and reached the quarterfinals. So Ghana's attainment of a quarterfinal appearance at the 2010 World Cup was an event that equaled the 2 previous records that Africa had set. In far away 2002, Senegal, and then 1990 for Cameroon.
Yes,
we were just we were just knocking on the doors of semi-final. You
want to recall what happened after that against Uruguay?
It was very unfortunate. When the referee awarded the penalty kick, I said I couldn't watch the penalty. I got off my seat and walked into the waiting area at the VIP. So I watched the penalty kick on TV. I couldn't watch it.
Oh, really?
Yes. I couldn't watch the thing live. I was frightened. I couldn't watch it. I don't know whether that was a prior notice to me that things were not going to be well, but I was frightened by that. I thought that. I didn't know how we were just going into the semi-final. It was going to be a big feat for Africa, not for me as a person or the GFA as an institution, and not for my country, Ghana, but the whole of Africa.
The whole of Africa.
Because at the time that we got to the semi-final, we were the only African team in the competition. The whole of the African continent, together with, I think, the whole black race, were rooting behind the Black Stars. Unfortunately, we couldn't go beyond that. Then in 2014, with the benefit of the experiences of 2010 and 2006, we thought this would be our best World Cup. We thought we would even make it to the semi-final.
I do recall that friendly match that was played at the Accra Sports Stadium against a local side, building up to that World Cup, and everyone was confident that this year we're getting to the semi-final.
And the euphoria was like the 2006 euphoria.
Yes.
In 2014, the hopes were very high. We all thought that we were going to do a good job. Unfortunately, that was our worst World Cup performance amongst the 3, and the reason was that we had the same appearance fee.
Appearance, which became very dominant in the airways. Yes.
You know, I never expected appearance fee to be an issue for us. In 2006, our next door neighbors, Togo, were reeling under the problem of appearance fees. Players threatened, in fact, they did not threaten. Players held management hostage and refused to train. So Sepp Blatter had to intervene personally to assure them monies would be paid so they should go and train and play their matches. And it was also realized that an appearance fee dispute could scandalize the whole World Cup.
Yeah, the whole tournament.
Yes. So FIFA intervened. So in 2010 and 2014, we're so mindful of this potential problematic issue. So we put a lot of measures in place and advised that the monies should be paid the players, because once you agree and you have your 23-man squad, it was just right that you pay them. But this was not done. We went to Amsterdam to play our last match, and appearance fee came up. The minister had to calm down and then see to the payment and assure that it to be done. We went to the US.
But it was approved by cabinet, it should be paid.
The money was approved. The money was approved by cabinet. The money was transferred from the Ministry of Finance, I think the approval process, to the Bank of Ghana on 26th or 23rd of May.
Really?
Yes.
For a tournament that was going to start in June?
Yes. The Commission of Inquiry revealed that there was approval, the money went to the Bank of Ghana on that day and had to be, the account of the Ministry of Youth and Sports had to be credited for the money to be paid to the players. They were to be given checks.
Yes.
It was never done. So when the Commission of Inquiry was set up, that was the issue that needed to be confronted headlong.
But they never came to the FA because you were in charge of the management of the game.
But the money was not GFA money. And I'm not a public officer. I wasn't a public officer at the time. I had no control. I was not the accounts officer. The GFA does not authorize or administer public funds. There are public officers who are responsible for that. If the money was paid to the GFA and the GFA did not disburse it, then the GFA had questions to answer. But this was not the situation. The money, the account of the Ministry of Youth and Sports ought to have been credited by the Bank of Ghana. The money went to the Bank of Ghana on 23rd or 26th of May 2014, and it was not paid. Up to the time that His Excellency the Vice President visited the team on the eve of the first game, the money had not been paid. The players were assured that the money will be paid. They played the first match, no show.
No show.
Second match, no show.
No show.
Third match, they decided to do Togo.
So how did you resolve that situation of players revolting, saying that they were not going to train, and how did you resolve that?
For me, I was surprised because we had been engaging them. And the assurances that we gave that the money will be paid, even though we didn't have control over the money, we thought they believed us. They did not believe us because several assurances had been given and none of them was fulfilled.
Yes. So at that point, they were right not to trust you anymore.
Yes. Yes, we had proven to be unreliable, but we didn't even have control over the money. We didn't have control.
How disgraceful was it that the whole world had Ghana money flying all over to Brazil? Could you even look at other FIFA and CAF officials in the face? It
was unimaginable. It was unimaginable that money could be flown across the Atlantic to pay appearance fees of players. And that attracted so much global attention, negative attention. Our country was not done a favor at all at that time. The media was not favorable towards us, and it didn't portray us in a very good light.